Hello again, and welcome back to Wingot Plays Satisfactory. Between episodes, I've doubled the plastic and rubber production, which now utilises the full 120 litres of oil that is being produced by that oil extractor, and also that is the max capacity for the fluid production process on the other end. And I threw an overclocker into the coke producing refinery that is just voiding the excess heavy oil residue. So we've now got a double the speed there, constantly producing rubber and plastic until they fill up. I haven't put an awesome sink down there, but for the time being, yeah, it will just build up and we'll have a lot of oil and of plastic and rubber sitting there, as well as a whole lot of fuel. Speaking of fuel though, putting in place those systems did mean that my power was going above 1200. I've managed to get it well below that requirement, but that was by basically turning off all of the awesome sinks in our base. Effectively, by turning off all of the awesome sinks, then everything backs up and all of the machines there effectively just turn off because all the lines are completely full, and that, well, halves my power usage. But what I do want to do is get the power up and running. You can even sort of see that there looks like the quick wire is still coming in, but pretty much everything else is just stationary. Now, in order to get some power upgrades though, we can't upgrade the coal any further without the improved belt, which arguably is available. There it is, expanded power infrastructure. It's available here in the expanded power infrastructure. But the expanded power infrastructure will also give us the fuel generators. So we might as well just get the fuel generators and start using them, using the fuel that we've got being made as a byproduct in order to power our base. However, in order to do the fuel generator, we're going to need heavy modular frames and we're going to need computers, both of which we have not yet automated. Now, the heavy modular frames, we do know how to make those already, but they have 4 input items, and so we can make those manually in a crafting bench, but with the available machines we've got, the most we can do is 2 items input. So first, let's go back a step and go to industrial manufacturing, which will get us the manufacturer, which can take 4 items as an input, or 3 or 4, but yes, can take 4 items as an input, and also unlocks the computer that we're going to need anyway as a input. So let's make that. We've already got everything we need, so all we need to do now is go to the active milestone and pump in all of this stuff that we've got in our inventory, and then shoot that one off. Perfect. So now we are able...
The manufacturer increases production complexity. A critical look at production line logistics and efficiency is recommended during integration. The truck allows for increased efficiency in transportation, automated or otherwise. New project parts enable progress to the next phase.
And so in order to make this, we're actually going to need some heavy modular frames, and we're going to need some motors. I have actually put in place this assembly here that's just taking in rotors and stators. Rotors being just fed in manually, and fed in from over there, and stators just splitting off of our stator build here. So we've got motors being automatically made, which is very convenient, and then and then we're also going to need some heavy modular frames to actually make our manufacturer. We're going to need 10. So heavy modular frame, we are going to want 10 of these, and so to make 10 of those we're going to need some more modular frames, which we've got a whole crate full of them here. Perfect. We're going to need screws. We've already got the encased industrial beams. We may as well grab a few extras of those. grab a stack. And we've already got the steel pipes, so now we just need to get a whole lot of screws in order to make these heavy modular frames, so that we can then automate the production of heavy modular frames. Screws should be available just over here, and we're going to need 1,000, which is only 2 stacks. Perfect. Then of course we're going to have to go to a crafting bench in order to make our initial heavy modular frames. Template done. And once we do have the manufacturer built upstairs, we'll then manually feed in these items that it's going to require as an input in order to get it making heavy modular frames. And later on, we'll do a proper build where it's actually got everything being crafted. But that will be a lot easier to do once we have basically decentralized the production. So let's see. I want this corner, basically, I think. I don't know if we've got enough space here, but let's take a look. Organization. We're going to want storage containers. So, approaching others' components. What? I think it's complaining about the hub there. Yeah. Okay, let's move the manufacturer then. So manufacturer, let's put it back here. And then we can put our storage crates in here. So let's see, that's lined up, but effectively we can't have it lined up because, well, okay, that one is lined up, and then the rest of these are perfect. So then we can put belts from each of those. And what are we trying to make? Well, we're trying to make heavy modular frames, and then last thing is we're going to want also to have an input for the output. Perfect. Good. This is only going to make 2 per minute, so it's going to take quite a while, but for now, let's just get things up. So, it's going to need modular frames. We've got, well, let's do this. So, in fact, how about I go grab a chunk of modular frames, and probably the easiest way to do this will be to go like this. There we go. So, we're going to want to go get a whole lot of modular frames. Which are just here. Okay, that's 500 modular frames, which will allow us to make 100, I think, of the heavy modular frames. We're also going to need a chunk of steel pipes, which is in this crate. Okay, now let's go clear out our inventory. Oh, I should have gone across the platform there. Didn't have to run back upstairs. And then I'm going to need some encased industrial beams as well, and then finally some screws. Now I'm just going to take a quick look at the throughput required. Screws we're going to need 200, but everything else can be just a standard Mark 1 belt. So here, let's put away those. Here, let's put away those. Perfect. Now we're going to need encased industrial beams and screws. Encased industrial beams are also sitting just up here. Just here. Perfect. And then screws we'll have to pop downstairs and grab in just a second. Now we should be able to do this. Lie in underneath there. Perfect. Now, this guy here can have encased industrial beams. There we go. And last one is, of course, the screws. So we grab 10 stacks of screws, and then we feed those in. This is going to need to be an increased conveyor belt, and then throw in 10 stacks of screws. Perfect, and that should be everything this is going to need to actually start making our heavy modular frames. This conveyor belt is only moving up to 270 per minute, so we can't really overclock this. If we went even 50%, that would be more than this can actually feed. So I think we're just going to have to wait. And then, perfect, that's making heavy modular frames in the background. In the meantime, we can probably go craft some manually. Let's go take a look what it's going to require to get our power generators, our fuel generators up and running. Also, right there, we're already capping up to like 1,000 because we've drawn on a lot of our resources, and we've got that new, what's it called? Manufacturer up and running. Now, in alternative fluid transport, we can do without that for the time being. Expanded power infrastructure is definitely what we're going to want to do. We're also going to need computers. And for computers, we are going to need the computer chip. There, the circuit boards. So we're going to need to get those made as well. But this is very much our next milestone. Potentially we could go jetpack, but first we would need to go here and get alternative fluid. Monorails, we need the computers, we need the heavy modular frames, and pipeline engineering, we need the heavy modular frames. So, as I say, I think fixing the power is probably my priority, so this one here is going to be what we want to do. Now, let's throw, oh, we can't actually throw things in yet, but let's go take a look what's going to be involved to also make computers. So basically we want to do the same thing. We're going to need heavy modular frames, and I suspect by this point there's only about 4 sitting there, maybe even just 2. Can there be only 3? Oh, it makes 1 at a time. Okay, it makes 2 per minute. Okay, so let's take a look. 11 coupons, nice. So we could actually start working on prettying some things up as well. So let's actually go take a look what's available in our awesome shop, because it would be worthwhile to buy something. So let's take a look. We've already got the light control panel, indoor lighting, standard display signs. The Piper tube could be an option. What we could do is we could actually set a Piper tube to go from here to our storage to our rubber and plastic factory and stop having to run around all the time. That's a strong possibility. Otherwise, we've got the various foundations which could come in very handy for making something that looks nicer. But just a lot of that, we don't have the windowed walls yet. Architecture. Frame pillars, I think, work actually well with the structural frames that they've already got, so I might grab those soon. But there's nothing that stands out there that I absolutely need to buy right at this moment. Concrete could possibly, or the grip metal could be quite good. I do this. If I unlocked enough silica. Oh, I haven't unlocked the grooves. That's the problem. Okay. So, let's... We never did set up hyper tubes, so let's go try setting that up to actually use as a method of transport to get around from location to location. So, step 1. It we want a hypertube basically running up to our storage facility up there. Let's just quickly throw an entrance on here, and then we're going to need to go as far as this can reach, which is about then basically we'll just run along the edge of this ramp that we're using for the trucks to run along. At the moment it's just a okay, but we're running out of materials. But effectively we just need to spend a bit of time while waiting. Looks like the drone's coming back, although it should have come back before. It must have just been that's the first time I've been in range for the animation to happen or something. We're out of steel pipes, we're out of copper sheets, so we're going to need to grab some more of those. But effectively what I want to do is I want to kill a bit of time while we wait to be able to get the computer set up going, which will be frankly very similar to the Heavy Modular Frame setup that we've got there, because again it'll be 4 items, and I think for the time being it's going to be easiest to just feed those manually, and then we can later on build the proper computer build once we've decentralized things and we've got the transport in place and we've got everything going to the central storage location. But for the time being, we are effectively jerry-rigging a lot of stuff off of the builds that we've already got, and so we just need to continue playing around there. Also, let's just quickly take a look here. There we go. There, perfect. And so the last thing we are going to need in order to get expanded power infrastructure is we're going to need some more of these encased beams. So let's take a look at that. We have got the drone back, so we can pop over here and we can throw these encased beams and the rubber into the system. Encased beams, rubber, perfect. So that's those ticked off, and then it's going to take a while to get our heavy modular frames. Even longer to get the computers because we've not even started on those yet. This, yeah, it is running perfect, and we've got more than 10. Great. So if we pop over here, we should be able to make a second similar setup. If we pop here, then let's basically mirror the one that we've already got. So there we go. And then feed conveyors in each row, and then computers are going to need circuit boards, cables, plastic, and screws. 130 per minute. So let's change that out to also conveyor Mark 2, and we're going to need, let's go grab screws, plastic, and cables. So let's try and grab okay, that's 10 stacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's 10 stacks of cable. Perfect. And then we're also going to want 10 stacks of screws. Over here. Perfect. Which goes into this guy here. Perfect. And then we're going to need plastic. In fact, we're going to need power, so it's probably easiest. No, I don't have cables. Go grab some spare cables because we're going to need those a fair bit. Perfect. And we'll go here, run that over to here, and good. Now we're also going to need plastic. We've got a couple of stacks on us, so in fact let's do that then. This can have some plastic, and then the last thing is it's also going to need circuit boards, which we have not yet automated. So if we pop over here, we can take a look at what's required to make circuit boards. Yeah, circuit board needs plastic and copper sheets. Well, we've got a whole chunk of copper sheets on us at the moment. So basically we just need to run some power here. Good. And that's going to need plastic and copper sheets. Perfect. Now, it would actually be a good idea to instead place that assembler here. Yeah, I think I want to do that. Oops. That'll be fun. So then we can just go like that. This guy is making circuit boards. It's going to need copper sheets and plastic, and so then we just need to feed those into it. Is particularly ugly, but for these, perfect. Then we can pop over here, put away those copper sheets again. Boom. We're going to need to go grab some more copper sheets as well, and then plastic can go into here. Perfect. And it did already make 8 circuit boards. And last step is we need to provide power to this. And it should get started making circuit boards. Perfect. Now we're going to need to go grab some more plastic, go grab some more copper sheets, which we can very easily do. Step 1, let's go grab some more copper sheets. Yeah, quick. And then plastic, we're going to have to pop over to the oil base that we have made between episodes, and quite possibly the easiest way to do that will just be to run off the edge here. I don't know whether we're likely to survive if we do that. Huh. That appears that we took no damage at all, although we go. Okay. We need another explorer there with perfect. I don't know how I took 0 damage there. It must have been because of the way that it managed to glitch out on the landing. But if we pop up here, there's a nice, very full. In fact, by now, I would suspect both of those storage containers to be pretty close to completely full. But let's go find out. And every single time I make that turn, I manage to hit that exact. But if we pop over here, let's see. Oh, okay. In fact, we probably don't need all that rubber, but what we do need is lots and lots of plastic. And let's just double check everything. So these guys are not backing up with heavy oil residue, because even though this guy is full of fuel, because these are all completely full of fuel, and that can consume 60, and basically you've got 10, 10, 20, 20, so we're making 60 there. Over here, this guy can also use 60 because I've overclocked it 150%, 180 petroleum coke per minute, and here I've got a Mark III belt feeding in to the awesome sink here. I was just having a glance at that, looking to see how quickly it's running, and it looks like it's doing about 100 points per tick, per second maybe, but it's also not running, well, yeah, it's not getting input 100% of the time either. So I did see that there were gaps in that belt, as well as which it's only producing, what is it, 180, but that belt can handle 270. So yeah, there's definitely plenty of gaps on the belt relative to the input, relative to the output of the residual coke refinery. But if we just pop back over to our main base here, we'll be able to drop off all of this plastic and the copper sheets we've got in our inventory, and that will mean that we've got lots and lots of computers being made in the background as well. And then it's just a matter of waiting. Once we wait, we'll have enough heavy modular frames and enough computers to unlock the expanded fuel power infrastructure, and at that point we can set up fuel generators next episode, as well as and then we can basically look at upscaling and rebuilding everything. Although probably we want to actually get the trains running before that. So there's still a few steps before the complete decentralization and rebuilds, but for the time being we've got basically everything up and running, and all of the stuff we're going to need for trains has now been automated, if at least with the manually fed inputs like these. Perfect, and that's creating computers. It doesn't have an output yet, does it? No. So let's quickly go over here and just put an output there. It was lacking in plastic, which is why it's only made 3 computers so far, but that should get the computers that we need. Perfect. Computers automated, heavy modular frames automated, and I was wondering if potentially we could have the plastic here feeding into here as well, but I think that would break unless we got rid of this. Potentially what I could do is I could actually swap these around so that this one's got the plastic, and then you could splitter it so that without this container here, it's also feeding into there. Because 45 plastic, 30 plastic, yeah. So, and then we could just use a Mark II belt coming out of the container. I might look at doing that, but that's something I'll probably have to do off camera. But for the time being, we've got circuit boards automated now, we have computers automated now, and finally, of course, we have the heavy modular frames automated over here, including, we've already got 22 sitting there. Right, oh, there we go. We've got 26 made already. We're going to need 50 of those for the expanded power infrastructure, 2 per minute, so that's going to be 25 minutes. And we're going to need 100 computers, and I think this said 3 per minute, 2.5 per minute. So it's going to take a full 50 minutes to get enough computers to unlock the expanded power infrastructure. And then, of course, we're going to need some extra computers to actually build the fuel refinery, And I do note that those circuit boards are not coming in fast enough either. Let's take a quick look. That's only making 7.5 per minute. So we are going to need, if we throw in a couple of overclockers, that will get closer to the input requirement speed. In fact, that 2 of those will actually only get to 15. We can get to 22.5 with 3 overclockers. So that's and obviously I'm aware that the inputs will need to be sped up as well, because that's now requiring 75 plastic per minute. So, as I said before, what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to actually swap these around so that the plastic can go on this line. Well, that'll sort itself out, and we can throw these all into here. Perfect. And then it'll just be a matter of replacing that with a splitter there. That needs to be a Mark II line. This will need, let's make this a Mark III. I don't know if it's Mark III specifically, but, and then that can just be a 1 all the way to the other connection there. Perfect. And then we can throw pretty much all of our plastic into here, and that should sort itself out and keep both of those fed. 18.75, this wants 25, so it, yeah, 25. So if we drop this to, I think 75%, 18.75, there we go, and it's going to make 1.875 per minute. So it is going to take or over 50 minutes to make the 100 computers that we're going to need at this stage. I think I'm just going to leave things running in the background while I play something else for about an hour, and then come back and review this. Although I should probably check that the screws aren't going to run out, and yeah, I'll keep an eye on this while it's all running. But otherwise, thank you for watching. Stay happy and healthy, and I hope to see you in the next one.